Hello everyone. Today we are going to be talking about some basic attacking stuff. There seemed to be some confusion in the last few wars about everything from kind of target selection through what temporary items to use and most importantly group attacking. All of which are things that'll help us succeed when it comes to our next war. First thing we're going to touch on very briefly, just for the sake of running the guide, is weapons and armor. You're going to want to make sure that you're running with a primary, a secondary of your choosing, and a melee weapon. Now, you can get bogged down spending big money on these. Long story short, just buy the best of what you can afford because you're really not going to get your resale value out of it anyways. You are going to want to use a full set of gear. I like to use the combat gear with a flexible body armor. If you're missing anything, you probably hit up the faction, be able to loan you something out, no big deal. You will want to have these just going forward in general, as far as a full kit goes. Now, that's all pretty self-explanatory. We're not going to get into the ranked war weapons. If you're buying those, then you pretty much know what you're doing. Now, let's go over, we're going to check out temporary items. I've seen a lot of people not using temporary items in our attack. These are going to make or break a lot of your attacks. If you're losing by one hit, this is going to save you 25 energy. If you need to bring somebody else's stats down because they're the only person chaining, this is where it's going to be. You can even boost up some of your own stats in here as well. So I'll go over some of kind of the more popular ones, why you might use them. So pepper spray here. Pepper spray is going to be the probably the best bang for your buck. It's going to bring your dexterity or your opponent's dexterity down to 1/5 of the original stat for approximately 15 to 20 seconds. Now, the 15 to 20 seconds is important because that is not attack specific. What I mean by that is if you attack them and kill them in 5 seconds, and they met out of the hospital, try and go save their chain, well, you still are going to have a few seconds left before you got to use another temporary item. Each one of these items is going to have kind of, different benefits, pros and cons to it. Let me see here. All right. So now, personally, I like to use the tear gas, but we're going to go over kind of the pros and cons of everything, what maybe you should be using, what you shouldn't be using. So, pepper spray, if you're just looking to throw something out there, give yourself a little bit of an edge for a few seconds there, pepper spray is going to be a great option because you can get it in the shop for $800. If they're sold out, it's $1,500 a pop. So, pretty much spray those all day long. I stay far away from these ones that are like do damage. For the money, at the end of the day, I'll just use my melee weapon um, and like a debuff temporary. So when it comes to the ones that actually do like debuffs or bring the other player's stat down to a more manageable level, we have the flash grenade, which is a good option if the person's hitting you a lot and you're trying to kind of just evade a few more attacks. This will bring their speed to 1/5 for 15 to 20 seconds. Now, for the money, this is really not the most economical option. It's only $24,000, which is still cheap for temporary items as far as those go. I tend to not use these unless I have a specific target that I need to hit that I'm like just one attack away from, and that'll kind of help me close that gap a little bit there. The Molotov is one that is very useful in the sense that if you have a person you're attacking that has like a high dexterity, you can get a free 78 accuracy temporary weapon that'll do burning damage over 3 turns. So that one actual hit is going to turn into a total of 3 hits. So 2 more turns after that. And that's going to be very useful for you in those situations. Tear gas, this is my 100% preferred temporary item just because of my stat balance. Now, this is going to decrease your opponent's dexterity down to a third, so you'll be able to hit them a lot more often. And that's going to last for a total of 120 to 180 seconds. So this lasts for a good amount of time. So if you have to go back in and attack somebody, or you're rolling with a group trying to beat somebody, this is a great option because it lasts for that 120 to 180 seconds. Smoke grenade, by far the most popular when it comes to attacking, like in group attacks. It lasts for the 120 to 180 seconds, but more importantly, it's going to lower their speed down to a third. So it's going to take the chance of them hitting you or anybody in your group down even more than the already debuffs that we are able to get from doing group attacks. So we'll go over those in a minute. Now, we have some more temporary items. Concussion grenade, those are 7 million a pop. There is no reason that you're going to need to use these at this point in our war game. It is worth kind of touching on. It is decreasing dexterity to a fifth for 15 to 20 seconds, but again, that's not really something we're going to concern ourselves with. When it comes to like nail bomb, glitter bomb, book, these are more novelty items than anything else. I would not waste your money on these personally. Same thing with the party popper. It's just meant to be something fun in the game, not something that turns out to be super useful. Now, we'll go over these little shots here. You have to have your pharmacy education done. And what one was that called again? Let me just double check that. I didn't put it in my notes. You need to have your biology major completely done to be able to use these. Now, I'll tell you, most of us are probably not going to use these. They are rather expensive for what they are. But it all depends on your stat value. So let's say you need to increase your stats to be able to beat a player. We're going to want to look into using these items. Now they do get a little pricey, so that's why I say probably not going to want to use these in most regular circumstances. But it's worth having by if you need to save a chain or you need to try and kill someone else's. It's worth keeping a couple in your inventory. So we won't spend too much time on these, but we'll kind of go over the benefits. So this will increase your speed by 500% for 120 seconds. This is not locked to any specific attack. So if you use this on yourself, kill them in 10 seconds, and go into another attack, you still have this buff. You'll still be able to use it. The 120 seconds is a hard timer, which is a really good thing. As for the melatonin, when it comes to tyrosine, this is going to be the same thing but with dexterity for 500%. Epinephrine is going to be strength for 500% at 120 seconds. And serotonin is going to fill our gap with the defense by 300% for 120 seconds, with the bonus of replenishing life by 25%. So you get kind of a dual use out of the serotonin there. And then what we're going to do here, we're going to kind of go just a little bit out of order here. We're going to go do an attack here with Jono, and we're going to do a group attack, and we'll kind of see what that looks like. Let me get all my stuff ready while he's getting ready. And we're going to jump into a group attack. We're going to take on one of my targets. Now, with this target here, this target has a lot of dexterity. Torn stats estimates that his stats are between 20 and like 200 million or something. So we're going to start the fight here. And I'm going to tell Jono to join the fight. Then we will see up over here should be a pop-up once Jono joins. Up on PC, it's down here. Mobile, it shows up here when someone's in the attack. So Jono's here now. We're ready to go. So I'm going to throw my tear gas here. And then I'm going to tell Jono here, throw your gas. So now this is going to, this right here, this is our distraction. So now his ability to like respond, create an offensive action is now 50%. as long as we keep our rotation. His dexterity and defense is also reduced 50% on top of the debuffs that we already have here. Dexterity is minus 89% right now. Defense is minus 50. So I'm going to roll with a hit. Okay, I missed. And now I'm going to tell Jono to send an attack. His distraction is up again. The more players that we have in here in this group attack, the more this will go down. So it'll be like the dexterity and defense reduced by 75%. So it's really useful in that way. I'll do an attack here. I miss. Using distraction again. Alright, I was able to hit. So now usually when I hit this guy, we're rolling at about 100 damage per hit, 200 damage per hit without a group attack. I'll let Jono hit him again. And what that ability to respond means, boom, Jono hit him. Perfect, that's it. Jono used his distraction. I'm just gonna go try and do another attack there, but hey, that's all that matters now. Jono has a total of 2.1 million stats. Let's get his total stat breakdown. Now, I personally don't hit Blick for 2,000 damage. This is just not a number that I achieve. When we look at my stats here, we're going to be rolling. What am I at? So I'm sitting at like 22 million. Most of mine's defense though, so or defensive stats, so defense and dexterity, mainly for like territory walls, that kind of thing. Now my strength and speed are both at about 1 million. Now, unless Jonah was only training strength, which I'm pretty sure he is relatively balanced, about 600k a pop. He was able to do that damage due to those debuffs that we were able to get from alternating and rotating our attacks. If you notice, I attacked, Jono attacked. I attacked, Jono attacked. Yep, so he's about 6 to 700k each right now, with some like buffs that you can get on your stats. So that's going to be a way that we can take out, really big targets as a team. So if you remember in that war, I think it was like We Are Rising or whatever that we were facing. Let me go look here. And he was on a Xanax debuff at that point in time. So all of his stats were minus 25%. So I mean, at the end of the day, I'll tell you that's really impressive. That shows the power of the group attacks, what we can do as a team. We had that Taxon gentleman that was keeping that whole chain alive for that faction in one of our wars, the war that went on for 4 days. If we would have group attacked him, he would have been sitting in the hospital the whole time, and we would have broke that chain. Now, let's see here, because I don't know that I actually looked at his stats, and I want to tell Jono what he just did there. Yeah, Jono just beat a player with 2 million stats, 25% debuff on the whole thing. So we're talking, what's that? Minus 500k, 1.5 million effective battle stats. He just beat him with 20 million to 200 million, 250 million stats. Now a lot of that's going to be due to balance, but this just illustrates kind of the different power that we are going to have when it comes to doing group attacks and that kind of thing. Now you might see these numbers next to people's stats, these like extra buffs here. These are permanent buffs. I'm not going to spend much time on these. Long story short, you can go into your merits. You can get an extra up to 30% from spending merits on your attacks. There's also education that you can do in different companies you can do to boost up your stats, that kind of thing. But the main thing, what was I? So what we're gonna, or so at the end of the day, when we look at the different group attacks, that's one of the main things we're gonna want to focus on. We're also gonna want to focus on our temporary item usage. All right, we're gonna want to get their stats lower. We're gonna want to also get our group attacks going on the people that like selectively we need to. Now, when I say selectively when we need to, there is no need if a player is offline to waste 100 energy on one attack. If that player is what's keeping the chain alive, alright, well, let's go ahead and kill their chain then. That's the way that I look at it. Take them out the game. Now, let's see here. I want to check my notes. There's one other thing I wanted to discuss very briefly in this video as well. Let's see. Actually, that is pretty much going to cover most of it. The only other thing is target selection. Target selection is something that you should take your time doing. You shouldn't be doing it during a chain. There's no reason, excuse to not try and get your to find a target before our chains and wars start. What you're gonna want to do once we're in the chain, there's a 1.57 multiplier on all respect gained. So if we were to have a 3 respect target times a 1.57, we're getting 4.71. So if you're attacking somebody for a mission, or you're attacking, just a random dude that was just being annoying in trade chat or whatever, and you see, oh, I got 3 respect for the faction from that. That needs to go on your enemy list. It's the best place to save them, in my opinion. If you want to do an Excel sheet, that's fine. But I come in here and I put exactly what the respect is for that, target. So now these guys, I actually went and updated the ones that say like 4.8 all the way through 5 for what the numbers are during the chain, just so that way I know what it is. These guys here, actually this one needs to go because it falls off. Now these ones here, I know, alright, if I get a 321.21 on Tech Killer in the chain, that's still going to be almost a 5 respect attack. So that's what we mean by like target selection, 3 to 4 respect. Because if you can find a 3 to 4 respect target, in the real world, so to speak, that'll easily be a 4.5 to 5 respect target, and will boost our actual total numbers we get from the chains and the wars up. And then we can chain and war a little bit less if we're getting the respect that we need. So I just wanted to mainly do the group attack demonstration. I'm glad that Jono and I were able to get that worked out there on such short notice. And other than that, if you have any other questions, if there's anything else you want me to go a little bit more in depth on, kind of go into the numbers, let me know. I will also have the Torn wiki page, which I completely lost, that goes over the different group attack statistics and all of that. But now that we have the visual, hopefully you guys can see it a little better. You can kind of see what Jono and I did there as far as, alright, I need you to attack now. So your temporary, let's attack, I'll attack, you attack. Just go back and forth, you'll get their stats lower, and you'll just get them finishing hits all day, man. Anyways, I'm going to get out of your guys' ear for now. I appreciate every single one of you. And let's go ahead and kick ass in this next war.